Good morning from Our Lady of Bethesda. Today's Advent reflection is called St. Francis Xavier, Preparing the Way for Christ. Today on December 3rd, we celebrate the feast day of St. Francis Xavier. He was born in 1506 in Spain. He later studied at the University of Paris, where he met St. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits. St. Francis himself became a Jesuit, was ordained in 1537, not 1537. Most of his ministry was performed in India and Japan. It is said that he baptized over 30,000 people. And that sacrament of baptism is the way I'd like to just reflect on preparing the way for Christ. That's the way St. Francis Xavier prepared in a very special way for the coming of Christ. First of all, he would read and teach people the creed, the basic teachings of the Catholic Church. After that, when they were ready for baptism, he would baptize them. And that introduces us into that great sacrament of baptism, where in reality, what happens on the outside, the cleansing of our skin, also happens on the inside, the cleansing of sin in our soul, or from our soul, is wiped away. And St. Francis Xavier did that in a very special way. That's how he prepared souls for Christ. Because when we're baptized, the grace of God, or really the life of God that we call grace, is literally implanted in our hearts and in our souls. Now, like everything, at the beginning, it needs to grow, it needs to flourish. Well, one of the ways we do that, of course, is through prayer and through our own personal reflection on how I can do better. Also, when we're baptized, we are literally made priests, prophets, and kings, every one of us. We become a priest, meaning all of us, not only ordained ministers, but all of us who receive baptism are able to offer spiritual sacrifices, a prayer, a little sacrifice we make in our daily lives. We also are prophets. In other words, we try to fulfill the will of God in our life and become witnesses to others by the very actions that we perform as followers of Christ. And then kings, or in some cases, of course, with girls and women, queens, right? We're noble. We are noble sons and daughters of God. And one of the analogies that we use for the life of grace in our hearts is that of light. We're sons and daughters of light. So when St. Francis Xavier was baptizing all these people, that's what was happening in their souls. They were given the life of God. They were made priests, prophets, and kings. And also the light of Christ shone in them. And that light also reminds us of the coming of Jesus, when we know the three wise men, the three kings, followed the star. They followed the light of the star, and that light was Christ. So as we reflect on the life of St. Francis Xavier, and reflect especially on the gift that he gave so many people in baptizing them, we come to a greater understanding of how we too are sons and daughters of light in Christ. And reflecting on that, and asking Christ to help us to grow in our love for him and our life as followers of him, our Advent will be made that much more full of light and full of life. Here at Our Lady of Bethesda, there are plenty of opportunities this Advent to prepare and to nourish that life of grace in our souls. So I encourage all of you to pray and maybe come visit Our Lady of Bethesda. Take a look at our website and look at the different opportunities we're presenting. You can find us at www.ourladybethesda.org. And we'll see you next Tuesday at this time, 9 a.m., for another brief Advent reflection. May God bless you today.